Oh boy, we get to talk about Xbox this time. Yay. Yeah, uh, Xbox is, well, it's Xbox. What is there to say? Xbox has kind of been really just falling down the wayside by quite a bit at this point. And recently they've been getting themselves into a lot of controversy. And that's kind of what I'm here to talk about now. So, for those who don't know, Xbox is, well, owned by Microsoft. It's a huge computer company and, well, kind of software company at this point. And I like Xbox. I like them a lot. There's a lot of Xbox games I have, and some of the more recent consoles I've been playing on have been the Xbox. I recently completed Silent Hill 2 on the 360, and I also played Red Faction Armageddon on the 360. I was also going to try the new Doom DLC on the Series X. So it really does hurt me to make this video, but Xbox is kind of disappointing everyone. There's a lot of issues with Xbox these days. The two I'm going to be focusing on are the fact that they don't really have many exclusives, and of course the studio closures. The exclusive problem, it's been an issue since way before this video even got made. They've been porting every exclusive of theirs to other consoles, and it really just kind of defeats the purpose of even getting an Xbox if you can just get it on a different console. Back then, you wouldn't have to, but back then you would just simply get both consoles if you wanted to play both games and just get one over the other. Nowadays, there's not really much of a reason to. Yeah, if you really want to play everything on Xbox, just get a PlayStation 5 because it'll be there eventually. Or get a Switch. Or just get a PC. Then you can just play everything. But of course, you just can't really do that anymore. Because Sony kind of decided they want to pull out of that and simply just release their games on PlayStation. Which is kind of a disappointment. But everyone's been disappointed with Xbox because they really just have not really been doing much exclusives. If something does come out on a console, chances are it usually just comes out on a different console much later. Which is just a bit unfortunate because, kind of, again, defeats the purpose of getting one. This is good for the consumer, but a lot of people are also really disappointed about that, myself included. I guess not as much about them porting the games over, but it's just the fact that they just don't really do much to have an Xbox. Well, yeah, you can get Game Pass. Okay, well, I don't really use Game Pass that much. Not to mention, it's also very expensive these days. The same with PS Plus, which I did forget to mention in my PlayStation video. So I'll mention it right here. Online multiplayer just kind of sucks with how much they're charging for it these days. And of course, Xbox is getting into a lot of controversy because of how many people they've been laying off. According to CNBC, Microsoft cuts 4,800 jobs as Xbox unit downsizes and plans to spin off 4 gaming studios. And apparently Xbox lays off 3,200 workers and 5 studios will leave the brand. Yeah, that was of course from Forbes.com, and that's kind of an issue. Why is there an issue? Well, it's just the fact that people are losing their jobs. That's the big issue. And that's kind of what I have an issue with Microsoft. A lot of people are just focusing on the fact that Microsoft is basically killing the studios, but not much people are really focusing on the fact that there's people who are just losing their livelihood just because Xbox really sucks with managing stuff. But according to Forbes, Double Fine, Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, Undead Labs, and Arcane have been spin-off. They do mention that Arcane, this one is up in the air and there are many stages to go for the French government for either closure, sale, or spin-off. So in this case, the fate of the upcoming Blade game is unknown. And that's Oh, and Ninja 3 is currently in talks to be sold, but it's still plan is to release Senua. Undead Labs is currently in talks to be sold, but still plans to release State of Decay 3. And this is kind of an issue because, well, ignoring the fact that so many people just lost their jobs, this is also just kind of going to be messing with their exclusives because, well, this could put them in limbo if funding gets cut or if they get downsized. Not much people are going to be working on them now, and that could lead to the game not being as good as they want it to be. Not to mention the fact that people are also losing their jobs also kind of really sucks, to be honest. It really sucks that people are losing their jobs just because this company really just did not want to be paying its employees and because they really just want to try catching up to PlayStation. And that's just the thing that Xbox should have really just been focusing on, is just simply making good games. Don't try to be this multimedia conglomerate because that's just not going to work. Let Xbox just do its own thing, have games released on the Xbox. Not to mention, there's also the fact that Game Pass doesn't really seem to be going the way they wanted it to be. Putting games day one on the Xbox isn't really a smart idea. I mean, Black Ops 6 lost $300 million according to someone. And I actually have to go look that up real quick. Now, according to PCGamer.com, Microsoft reportedly estimated that Game Pass led to $3 million in lost sales of Black Ops 6, with 82% of copies being sold on the Game Pass-less PS5. Which, yeah, that I'm not really too surprised because, well, the thing is, Game Pass is that it's a lot cheaper than Black Ops 6 was at launch. I think that's Microsoft's issue, is that they put first-party games on Game Pass day one, when that just should not be the case. You don't see Sony putting games day one on PS Plus Extra or PS Plus Premium. They eventually do that, but this is years after they launch, or at least months after they launch, after they made, after the games got released. So, it just really sucks on Microsoft's doing that. Now, this is good for the consumer. I'm not going to complain about that. But with Microsoft, well, they can't do this and complain that they don't have any money, because it's like, that's kind of on you, sister. But, yeah, going back to the studio closures, it really does suck that they're doing this, and this is kind of asinine. And this was also kind of an issue when it came to, stuff like id, because id ended up losing quite a few employees. And Microsoft is talking how they want Bethesda to be focusing on their flagship titles like Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, Fallout, and Skyrim. Well, Elder Scrolls. Which is just ironic because they just fired so many people. And it's just kind of stupid. Not to mention, they're also not helping themselves either, because, well, Black Ops 7 released last year, and everyone did not like the fact that Modern Warfare 3 came out right after Modern Warfare 2. This was kind of a stupid idea. Now, I love Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Don't get me wrong, I have quite a few copies of this game, especially the Steelbook versions, which I do like. But one thing I will definitely admit is that releasing these games so closely together was probably one of the stupidest ideas from Microsoft. And just what happened again. Yet Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 released about a year apart. And Black Ops 7 is kind of a hated game. I love Black Ops 7, but the popular opinion on it is that the game sucks. So, Yeah, it really just sucks with what Microsoft's doing. And I also do have to see what other studios are getting shut down. But it sucks because there's games that do seem like they're going to be good with Microsoft, but then the future just could simply be in limbo. Like South of Midnight, I remember hearing a lot of people say some really good things about that one. Double Fine, I know, did have some really good games. Ninja Theory had two of the best games on the Xbox, and same with Arcane. And it sucks because now, of course, this is point to GameStop, but Bethesda and ZeniMax are also facing layoffs. Same with Blizzard, same with King, and same thing with Mojang. And this really just sucks because there simply could just be a lot of. There's a lot of people losing their jobs, and I don't think this is really going to help with its company. Now, I could be unpopular, but I'd say I'd rather see Xbox just simply go all digital or just raise consoles pricing again rather than just fire so many people or just simply, cancel a physical version of a game or so. I think I'd rather have all that rather than so many people losing their jobs. It's also not helping that Game Pass has been losing them revenue too. This is also according to GameSpot.com as well. And obviously, as we've seen, Game Pass has also seen a price increase. Now, they do have a new CEO who was kind of trying to bring the reins and really just kind of make Xbox just so good. But of course, Xbox, they just kind of have to keep fucking everything up, which brings me to my thoughts on this. I am disappointed. I'm actually really disappointed with Xbox right now. I'm disappointed with PlayStation. I'm disappointed with Nintendo. I don't like what Nintendo has done with, some of its key cards and with raising up the prices for the Switch too, not even a year after it launched, as that will be, well, okay, it's been a year since it launched, but it was before a year when they announced those prices. Not to mention the fact that the Switch is also gonna get it did get a price increase, and the fact that they're actually ending production on these too, just kind of really sucks. Then you have Sony, who's shutting down the PS3 and PS Vita store and going all digital. Then Xbox just fires so many employees, was going to close down studios, and just gaming this generation kind of sucks. If I'm going to be honest about that, it kind of sucks. Because you have so many good studios that just simply get shut down because they did not get enough revenue for the company. Such as like Tango and Arcane Austin. I think there was another studio too. But it really just sucks because Xbox didn't have some really good games this generation. So has Sony, but it just is unfortunate because they're not really focusing on the good ones, but just trying to chase trends or just raise up prices for Game Pass or whatever. Obviously, time will tell whether or not these companies really do pull their head out of their ass, or if they're just simply going for another game crash. Either way, I've been your host, and I will simply just see you all next time. I'll try not to raise the prices for any of my videos. What I talk about. Peace out, everyone.